Alright, our topic for today is solving proportions. Our goal for today is to solve proportions, and our vocabulary word for today is the word proportion. A proportion is a statement where two ratios are equal. Let me give an example of that. 1/2, which is a ratio, it's a ratio of 1 to 2, is equal to 2/4. Now, you can also talk about this as 1 teacher to 2 students, 2 teachers to 4 students, and so on, and so on, and so on. Alright, so let's take our very first one. This is a proportion of 10/7 is proportional to n/42. And we have our sequence chart right here. Sequence starting off with cross multiplying, then we're going to set them to equal. Then it's a basic one-step equation, and then simplifying. So let's start off right here. We're going to first of all cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply 7 to n. That's going to give me 7 times n. We're going to set them equal. To the other side, cross multiply that, 10 times 42. So that's our first step here, which is to cross multiply. Now we're going to go ahead and simplify this part out. 7n is equal to 420. At this point right here, we're now going to go ahead and do the one-step equation. This means 7 times what is equal to 420. Another way we can do this is to divide both sides by 7. Property of equality here. 7/7 gives us 1, n is left over. 420 divided by 7 is going to give us 60. And again, cross multiplying, we're going to set them equal. Then do a one-step equation or a two-step equation to simplify and solve. Alright, so here's another one. Let's go and work on that. So first of all, cross multiply. Being that the numbers are slightly small, I'm just going to go ahead and put down as 4 times x is 4x is equal to 3 times 8. That's going to give me 24. Now again, it becomes a one-step equation, so divide both sides by 4, because since we're multiplying here, to undo that, we're going to divide by 4. Divide by 4 on both sides, property of equality. 4/4 becomes 1. X is equal to 24 divided by 4, which is going to give us 6. Alright. Now here we have another question. And let's go ahead and work it out the same way. 7 times 5, x times 3. So let's go and write that out. 3x is equal to 35. Now what I do notice is that this is probably not going to come out nicely, but it's okay. If you divide both sides by 3, I have x here. This will be 35 divided by 3. You can change it into one of many ways. I would prefer just using it as a fraction. 3 into 35 is going to give you 11 times, and the leftover is 2, so it's 11 2/3. Alright, so now, what happens if we have solving proportions with distributive property? And why do we have to do distributive property? Because we have 2 terms on this denominator instead of just 1 like the other ones. So we're going to do the same exact thing. So let me go ahead and set this up. I'm going to cross multiply. So that's going to give me 10 times b plus 5, because I have 2 terms here. And then I'm going to set that equal to 7 times 5, which will give me 35 at the end. But I wanted to set it up first so that way you knew where I'm getting all of my numbers from. Alright, so let's go ahead and distribute. So I'm going to distribute the 10 to the b. That'll give me 10b. Distribute 10 to the 5. That'll be plus 50. Is equal to 7 times 5 is going to give me 35. Now, once you get here, this is a basic two-step operation. You have a multiply and an add right here. We're going to go ahead and undo that. And you always want to undo the addition or the subtraction part next to your coefficient and variable. So here is minus 50. And we're undoing addition, minus 50. So that's gone. I now have 10b is equal to 35 minus 50 is going to give me a negative 15. And then again, I now have broken down my two-step equation into a one-step equation. So now to undo this, that's multiplication, so I'm going to divide by 10 on both sides, and I now have b is equal to negative 15 over 10. We can go ahead and simplify. If I simplify that, that's going to keep on giving me a negative. Divide top and bottom by 5, I'll have 3 over 2, or the same as 1 and 1/2. Don't forget that negative. Alright, so once again, cross multiply, distribute whatever that you need to distribute, make sure that they are set equal, and then finish up with your two steps or your one-step equation. Alright, what happens if you have two of them? Well, do the same exact thing. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. We now have 5, and I'm just going to go ahead and skip that step and go 5r, because I took 5 times r, 5 times 5, which is going to give me plus 25, is equal to, then I'm going to go and take this side, 8 times r, 8 times negative 9. That's a part that you got to be very, very careful of. Notice I took 8 times, and I used that entire term as a negative term. Negative 9 times 8 is going to give me negative 72. So I have now cross-multiplied and distributed. Okay, I'm going to now isolate my variables, just like what you learned on multi-step. Because I have an 8r here and a 5r here, I'm going to go ahead and choose a smaller one to go ahead and subtract from, just because if I take it this way, I'm going to have a positive r. So here I now have 25 is equal to 3r minus 72. And just like here, that's a two-step equation. I want to undo minus 72, so I'm going to add 72, and that's going to give me 97. Now, here, let me rewrite it up here. 97 is equal to 3r. To undo that, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 3. That's gone. I now have r, and then 97 divided by 3 is roughly about 34 times. Let me see. Oops, 33, 99, 32 times. And then I'm going to have 1 left over. So I just divided 3 into 9, 3 times, 3 into 7, that's 6. I'm going to have 96. That 1 right there is going to be left over. Alright, so now what happens if I have it in this situation? So go and copy this part down. Let's multiply straight across. I'm going to have 7n minus 35. And again, that's from this. I'm going to set it equal to this side. 2 times n. 2 times positive 8. Okay, and it becomes a very similar question like that. So I'm going to just take my 2 variable answers and take away the 2, just because that's going to leave me with a positive answer. I'm going to subtract 2n from both sides, property of equality. That's gone right here. Here I'm going to be left with 5n minus 35 is equal to 16. I'm going to add 35 to 16. Property of equality again. That's gone. I now have 5n is equal to, and that looks like 151. So let me rewrite it up here. So if I have 5n is equal to 51, I can now do a one-step equation right here, which is divide by 5, divide by 5. I now have n is equal to 10 and 1/5. And again, 5 into 50 is 10 times, and then that one remainder. And it's over the same denominator. All right, that's it.